Willow Glen, a picturesque town in Maine, had always been the embodiment of peace and community spirit. With its cobblestone streets, sprawling oak trees, and friendly neighbors, it seemed like the kind of place where nothing bad could ever happen. But on the evening of October 14, 2012, this idyllic image was shattered forever. It began like any other crisp autumn evening. Families were preparing for the annual Harvest Festival, the air filled with the aroma of baked pies and cider. But for the Miller family, their world was about to turn dark. Emma Miller, a 35-year-old schoolteacher, lived in a charming colonial house on Maple Street with her husband David, a carpenter, and their 10-year-old daughter Lily. They were a picture-perfect family. That night, David was supposed to be out of town for work, leaving Emma and Lily alone. When Emma didn't show up for work the next morning, her colleagues grew concerned. A neighbor, Claire Dunham, decided to check on Emma after noticing the family's porch light had been left on all night. When knocking yielded no response, Claire peeked through the living room window and immediately called the police. What officers found inside the Miller home was beyond anything Willow Glen had ever seen. Emma Miller's lifeless body was sprawled on the living room floor, her throat slashed, and her arms displaying defensive wounds. Lily was found upstairs in her bedroom, smothered with a pillow. There was no sign of forced entry, and nothing appeared stolen. The only clue was a cryptic message scrawled in blood on the living room wall. The sins of the father. Detective Sarah Kavanaugh, a seasoned investigator with a reputation for solving the toughest cases, was assigned to the case. From the start, the lack of forced entry suggested the killer was someone the Millers knew. David Miller, Emma's husband, was immediately brought in for questioning. He had been in Portland for a work conference and his alibi checked out. Devastated by the loss of his family, David seemed to have no idea who could harbor such hatred for them. As Detective Kavanaugh dug deeper, she uncovered a startling piece of evidence. Emma's journal revealed a series of disturbing entries. In them, she mentioned feeling watched and receiving anonymous notes threatening her and Lily. One note chillingly read, "Your family will pay for what he did." The investigation took a sharp turn when David Miller's past came to light. 20 years earlier, David had been involved in a fatal drunk driving accident that killed a young woman named Rachel Turner. Though he served time for vehicular manslaughter, the Turner family had never forgiven him. Rachel's younger brother, Mark Turner, was now a 37-year-old mechanic living 2 towns over. Known for his temper and erratic behavior, Mark became the prime suspect. But when detectives visited his home, they found nothing to link him to the crime. Mark claimed he had moved on from the tragedy, though his words seemed hollow. Weeks passed with no new leads, and the case was growing cold. Then, an unexpected break came from the forensics team. A partial fingerprint was discovered on the bloody knife found in the Miller's kitchen. It didn't match David, Mark, or Emma. Instead, it belonged to Claire Dunham, the neighbor who had reported the crime. When confronted, Claire's calm demeanor cracked. She admitted to being involved, but insisted she wasn't the killer. Instead, she claimed she had been coerced by Mark Turner, who had threatened her family if she didn't help him gain access to the Millers' home. According to Claire, Mark had harbored his hatred for David for years and saw the murders as a twisted form of justice. Detective Kavanaugh obtained a warrant to search Mark Turner's property. In his garage, they found damning evidence. A collection of photos of the Millers, including shots taken through their windows. They also found a crude map of the Miller house and a second unused knife wrapped in plastic. Mark was arrested and eventually confessed to the murders during a tense interrogation. His motive was clear: revenge. He blamed David not only for Rachel's death, but also for the dissolution of his family, as his parents had divorced after her death. Mark saw Emma and Lily as the ultimate way to hurt David. Mark Turner was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, breaking and entering, and conspiracy. Claire Dunham, though complicit, received a lighter sentence for cooperating with the investigation. The trial was a media spectacle, with the courtroom packed every day. Mark showed no remorse as the jury found him guilty on all counts. He was sentenced to life without parole, ensuring he would never harm anyone again. David Miller, now a broken man, left Willow Glen shortly after the trial. The once peaceful town struggled to recover from the trauma, its residents haunted by the realization that such darkness had festered in their midst. And that's the chilling story of the Shadow of Secrets, the Willow Glen murders. A tale of hidden grudges, shattered lives, and the devastating cost of revenge. If you found this story captivating, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more haunting true crime stories. Your support helps us bring these tales to light. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there.